Hello. A few years ago, I took part in a pantomime. Oh, yes, I did. It was Jacket and the Beanstalk, and I absolutely loved it. It was just a great time. 6 shows a week, two on Wednesday, two on Saturday, and it was exhausting, but it was great fun. And I loved the involvement of the children, well, and the grown-ups too, shouting and hissing and booing and cheering and everything. And for those couple of hours, you suspend belief, and there really is a giant, and there really is a princess, and all the rest of the things that happen in pantomimes. And I think one of the reasons I love them is because they're a bit black and white, and you don't have to think too clearly, do you? I mean, the baddie is quite obvious who the baddie is, and boo boo, and he's behind you and all that. And then the goodie is there, and you cheer, don't you, when the goodie does something wonderful. So if only life was a little bit like that, wouldn't it be easier? And I think actually sometimes when I'm reading something, a news story, I'm looking at a news story or something that's happening, I'm not quite sure how I'm meant to react. And sometimes it would be lovely if there was a little pop-up boo or hiss, so I'd know what I was doing. I'm joking, really, but it is true, isn't it? Sometimes you have to really stop and take yourself to one side and maybe with God, just work out exactly what you're meant to think about this particular thing that's there in front of you. The other reason I like Panto is because it's transformational. I mean, there are some wonderful transformational scenes, aren't there, in Panto? Take Jack and the Beanstalk, for example. Jack has to go out and sell the cow because they're poor, and he gets conned, doesn't he, by the giant disguising and all that kind of stuff. And what does he get? Magic beans, and goes home, and Mum's furious and throws them out the window, and they transform into this giant beanstalk, and he climbs up it, and there's the giant at the top who's been being horrible to the villagers, and he slays the giant and wins the hand of Moi, the princess, and they all live happily ever after. In Beauty and the Beast, there's a lovely transformation, isn't there, where the Beast, who is, horrible and nasty, and he does something nice and becomes really good, and he and the lovely lady live happily ever after. Lots of lovely scenes. Aladdin, of course, there's the lamp, a tatty looking old lamp, gets rubbed, transforms into this genie who helps everybody out. And most of them, if you look back over the pantomimes, has got a transformation scene. And there it's very easy, isn't it, to know who the goodies and the baddies are. Not like in the old Western days. Weren't they wonderful, where the guy that was the goodie wore the white hat and the guy that was the baddie wore the black hat? Again, there was this visual help. And as I said, life isn't like that. Cinderella, of course, has the best transformational scene, doesn't it? The wonderful one where the Cinders is there in her rags and her tatters, and along comes the fairy godmother and waves that magic wand, and in the twinkling of an eye, she's transformed into this beautiful lady. I wonder if there's something in your life that needs to be transformed, not into something like we've been talking about, but into something else. Is there something that's going on in your life that needs some transformation, needs some little help? God has promised he will help us and he will change us, sometimes in the twinkling of an eye. So I wonder if there's anything you need to bring before God this Christmas and say, God, I'm not really very happy with this, whatever it is, this situation, this person, this relationship, this place, this whatever, I don't know, And maybe just quietly come before God and say, you can transform these things, and I'm just bringing them to you this Christmas and asking you if you will transform them and make them into something that's going to be right for me and you, for us to work together. I don't know, maybe stand by your Christmas tree or somebody else's Christmas tree. Just quietly have a little chat to the maker of the stars and the sea, who became a child on earth for you and me. And just tell him those things and ask him for help. And do you know what? He will. And it's interesting, isn't it, how we look back at our lives and see what we've done. And I always think we are the sum total of everything we've done in our lives. And in God's economy, nothing is wasted. So if you're going through a really bad time right now, add it to that list of things that you are going to be able to use in the future. I mean, I know in my own life, I look back and I can remember doing gigs with the Settlers, which have helped me in my life now as a priest, communicating with people, being in front of an audience, congregation, whatever. Also working with Premier Radio and other places in broadcasting. That again has helped me, I think, with the communications. And the same is true of you. You can look back perhaps and see that what you're doing now has been helped by, it may be something awful. It may have been a period where you were out of work, the theatres were closed and dark, and you just had to go and be a waiter or a waitress. Well, serving people. Gosh, what a wonderful lesson we can all learn by doing that. And maybe that will add into the sum total of what you are now. I do believe that's true. And God can use every single little bit of us. So throw away those old beans through the window and see what they get transformed into. And ask God if he will show you what he wants you to do in the new year. And I pray that you'll have a fantastic Christmas, a really blessed time. And God bless.